Okay, and then we're going to solve the last kind of equation we have today. Now, here's what this says. It says x plus 1 in parentheses to the 3 over 2 power, the 3/2 power, minus 2 equals 25. Now, some of you are like, well, that means a square root. Yeah, it does, but the problem is you don't want to write it in radical form because you have a number that's not a 1 on top of the rational exponent. Because it's a rational exponent right here, 3 over 2. Now, if it was just 1 over 2, I'd just write it as a square root of x plus 1 minus 2 equals 25. But with that number up above there, that's probably not a great method. Okay? Because then I end up with all kinds of problems. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in our old buddy, the h, make a table off to the side, and put x plus 1 on both sides. Now, we might not use the right side. I'll explain how that works. Some of them you use the right side, both sides. Some of them you just use one side. You just get one answer. Okay? More on that when I get to it. So, cross that out and you write a new equation. H to the 3 over 2 power minus 2 equals 25. Now you're just going to use kind of your linear properties. Get rid of your minus 2 by plus 2. Okay, does h have a multiplier in the front? It does not, so I don't need to divide. Now we get rid of the exponent. Now you're like, well, how do you get rid of an exponent when it's a fraction? You parenthesize each side and you reciprocate the exponent. So it goes from, reciprocal means flip it. So 2 over 3, the 3 over 2 and the 2 over 3 then cancel. Now you're like, why do they cancel? Well, because if I take 3 over 2 times 2 over 3, that product is 1. So it's h to the first power, which means it's just h. Now if we took that side to the 2/3 power, we have to take that side to the 2/3 power. And now you go to your radical sheet. Circle the 3 and circle the 27. Okay? Because what that means is the cubed root of 27. Go to your radical sheet and look up the cubed root of 27. It's there. It's equal to 3. Now, a cubed root's an odd root, so it's not plus negative. It's just a positive. Okay? So if it's an odd root, okay, you don't put a plus negative, just the number. And then you put the second down there. Okay, so I raised 3 to the second. That's going to be 9. So I only need one side of the table. I don't need the other side. I put 9. I subtract 1 from both sides, and x equals 8. Okay, next problem. 3 times. You can't distribute with the exponent, okay? Don't try to apply the distributive property. That property cannot apply when you have an exponent. The exponent blocks it. So you have 3 times the parentheses x plus 1, and then the power outside the parentheses is a 2/3 power equals 12. Okay, so let's just replace that. X plus 1, x plus 1. Remember, I might use that side, I might not. Okay, so h, so you got 3 times h to the 2/3 power equals 12. Now, your h has a multiplying number, so you need to divide, because the opposite of multiply is to divide, so you need to divide each side by 3. Remember, you take care of the exponent last. The last thing, I have a lot of people that will take that, will deal with the power before they get rid of, no, all other operations have to be undone before you worry about the power. Okay, so like here, have to get rid of the minus 2 operation before I worry about the power. Here I have to get rid of the times 3 operation before I worry about the power. Okay. Okay, now you raise both sides to the reciprocal power. So it's 2/3. We're going to go 3 over 2. Okay, now how do you do that? Well, you circle your 4 and your 2. Now it's a square root. Square root of 4 is 2. Okay, that's what 4. Now it's a square root. That's an even root. Okay, so that's a plus or positive negative. And that's positive negative 2. Then you drop the 3rd power down. So what you need to do is you need to take 2 to the 3rd which is 8. And then you put a backslash, and then you take negative 2 to the third. That's negative 8. So this time you will use both sides. So 8, negative 8. Again, I just put a 3 down here because 3, that's an odd root, okay? Cubed roots are odd, okay? Maybe if you want to put here on your sheet, positive, negative, and then not positive, negative, and then a fourth root, I'd be back to positive, negative, okay? So, since that was the square root of 4, that's what a half power means, okay? It's 2, but it could be positive, negative, so then you need to evaluate it positive to the third and negative to the third. Then you come up here and fill out both sides. So minus 1, you get 7. Minus 1, you get negative 9. So those are your two possibilities. Pretty much all you do here. Okay, now I have a parentheses, x minus 4 to the 3 over 2, 3 halves power, 3 over 2, plus 3 equals 11. Okay, so take your quantity. We'll put that there for later. Then h, so h to the power of 3 halves plus 3 equals 11. Now, you have to undo the plus 3. You got to undo all your operations on the h side before you worry about the exponent. You got a plus 3, so you need to minus 3 minus 3. That equals 8. Now you take each side to the reciprocal power 2/3. So 8 to the 2/3 power. Circle the 8, circle the 3. That means the cube root of 8. So that's 2, but not positive, negative, just 2. Okay? Because it's odd. Okay, but we still have the second power. Don't forget about that. So I just evaluate 2 to the second power. Okay, so that's 4. So I just put a 4. I don't need that side. So I add 4, x equals 8. Okay, next problem, we have 4 times the quantity 3x minus 3 to the 2/3 power equals 36. Okay? So, remove the quantity, bring it over here so we remember it. Then put an h there, okay? So 4 times h to the 2/3 power equals 36. Don't do the reciprocal yet. You have another operation there. You have a times 4, so you need to divide by 4 before you worry about the exponent, okay? So it's 9. I shouldn't see anybody doing a 3 over 2 power when you have a multiplying number there. Okay, then you take both sides to the reciprocal power, 3 over 2. Now remember what a half power means. It means the square root of 9. So there's 9. The square root of 9 is 3. It could be positive or negative, 3. And then you still have the third power up there. So we have to take positive 3 to the third, 27. And then we have to take negative 3 to the third, negative 27. So you need both sides of your table now. You need 27, and you have to account for negative 27. So you add 3 and divide by 3. 27 plus 3 is 30. Divide by 3, you get 10. So 10 is your first solution. Add 3. Negative 27 plus 3 is negative 24. Then I divide by 3. And I get negative 8. Okay. Okay, I don't like that. I'm going to make this 1/4 into it. I'm going to go 5 parentheses 3x plus 1 to the 1/4 equals 10. Okay. Actually, we'll leave it the same. We'll leave it the same. Okay. So 3x plus 1 equals 3x plus 1 equals. Okay. So h, 5 times h. 5 times h to the power of 1/4 equals 10. Okay, now before you worry about the power, you have to undo the multiplication. So that's 2. Now you take each side to the 4/1 power, but 4/1 is just 4. Okay. Now, you don't have a bottom number to worry about, so there's no root at all. Okay, so you just raise 2 to the 4th, which is 16. You don't need this other side, it's just 16. Because it would be a 4/1 power, but I mean, there's no such thing as a first root. Okay, so that's why that can just be forgotten. So first root, there's no, first is odd, by the way, there'd be no positive negative, so it'd just be here. There's no root, it's just one-sided. Okay. Okay, then you got this next side right here. Now, you're like, what's with this? Okay, they're both to the 1/2. That's actually good. That means I don't need the table. Okay, you don't need the table. You wouldn't use the h either. What you do is just take both of these to the power of the reciprocal. So 1/2 is 2. So you parenthesize each side and just put a 2. Now those cancel, and now I just end up with a linear equation. So 7x plus 6 equals 9 plus 4x. Okay, and there are no more roots; they're gone. Okay, so if I have them on both sides with nothing really outside, I don't really use the h. Okay, so I'd subtract 4x. Linear properties, you get the x's on one side. After that's done, you get your non-x's to the other side. And divide by 3, you get 1. Okay, so you don't need h in the table when it's on both sides, because if it's the same power on both sides, you just reciprocate the power. Power goes away, and there we have it. Okay.